Hey everybody. So the massive tilt continues. I'm just kind of sitting it out and waiting for my brain to turn back on. Just trying to figure out what has changed other than removing a diet of consisting mainly of strong coffee from my life. So I know that, if I was caning the coffee, I could artificially boost my brain power. But for now, I just need to accept the fact that my brain's running on eco mode. And so, with that in mind, we're going to start a brand new series. Okay, this is going to be Hunty's Dash from 1350 back up to 1600-ish. Okay, so we'll see how we go. So here's the idea. Every day, I will take on one rated game. Okay, we'll do a 15 plus 10 probably. And I'm going to use my checklist, okay? Because, why am I playing so badly? I don't know. And it's really weird, all right, here's something. A lot of times I get in the comments, like I'll post a game against a 1000, right? And I'll point out a load of mistakes and blunders. And then somebody will chirp up in the chat saying, I play against 1000s all the time and they never play this badly. Yes, they do. There is something in chess where the more solidly you play, the more opportunities you give your opponent to make mistakes. Okay, so if you control a lot of the board and leave your pieces all defending each other, right? For example, just two things there, then your opponent's got more chances to step on a square that you occupy, or they find it harder to attack you. It's not rocket science. So there's something about the way that I'm playing. It's something about my decision-making process, because that's all chess is. It's like, I make a move, you make a move. That's it, right? Something is just, and I think it's just brain power. I just feel like at the moment, I do not have this level of alertness, and I'm just putting fewer thought cycles into each move. So I am now playing like a 1300, not a 1600. I'm capable of playing like a 1600 or a 1700, according to the, the bell curve. Absolutely. But right now, for some reason, I'm at the bottom of my performance range. So, with that in mind, and with checklist in my grubby little hand, we're going to take a random game. We're going to see who we get from 1354. Let's do this. So I've had my breakfast, and I've got a cup of black tea here. Apparently nobody's on chess.com today. Okay, we have a game, and my opponent is rated 1253. Alright, and we have black, got pawn to e4. I'm going to play the Scandinavian. Am I? No, I'm going to play the French. I get quite good results in the French. Okay, knight out. Okay, and he's pushed. That's interesting. So now I'm going to get c5 in straight away. Now he could be playing the wing gambit. If he plays that, no, exactly. Because this is actually the setup for, if he played the wing gambit in the French, you're waiting for this move and then you offer b4 there and try and distract the pawn. But he's played d4. So, is my king safe? Good question. There's a check on the board, right? Are there any checks? Yeah, good. But I know that I can block this in 3 different ways. Okay. If my opponent had to find a way to win now, what could it be? I know they can't, because I've played this. I've had this position so many times. If I had to win, could I? No, it's too early. What's changed on the board? Okay, he's attacking this pawn. Now, I know that here I can just take. The other thing I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and take 20 seconds minimum over all moves. Okay, now he's moved his knight a second time, which is, it's all right. So my first thought is I could put my knight here and attack his knight. And if he trades it off, I recapture with the pawn, and I'm actually way ahead in development, right? If I do that, he may also bring his bishop out and pin my knight, in which case I probably break the pin with my bishop. And that might not be too bad, actually. So if he does this, because in the French, you see, because I've got this light squared pawn chain, okay, now let's check if there's anything evil he can do. So here, anyone who takes here can get taken by a pawn, and then I've re-established my c-pawn. If he takes the knight, I take the pawn. If he takes knight with the bishop, I take with the pawn. Probably push this up and then lurk my bishop here. And it's gotten out of the light squared jungle. So right now, two pieces developed, two pieces developed. I've got 2 pawns though, and I have better control over the centre than white does. So I would say we're in a roughly equal position at this point in time. So while my opponent is having a think, I'm going to identify anything on the board that's not defended. That is not defended, okay? And this is a very common pattern that you get in the French, right? Because I can just simply take that pawn. If he takes my bishop, I can recapture with the queen or with the knight. Okay, so we've got ourselves a pawn by identifying what's not defended. Okay, that's not defended. King's got that, queen's got that. Everything else is good, and the bishop is defended actually twice. So, right now, on my side of the board, meanwhile, on the other side of the board, my knight is undefended. He's attacking that once it's defended. That's technically pinned. So kicking the bish is a thought. If he retreats here, I get to kick him again, then he's trapped in the corner. Okay, so that's an idea. Another idea is to bring that bishop out at some point in time. I'm going to kick the bishop. This game is worth a massive 6 rating points, so it take me up to the heady heights of 1360. And you know, I remember working my way through the 1100s and feeling fear when I faced the 1200. I'm playing a 1253 now. I remember being afraid of 1200s, and I also remember, oh, you've traded. Okay, now, if I take with a queen, I'm just checking. Knights cannot come in. There's no point taking with the knight, it simply retreats the knight. Or is there? The knight's currently on an undefended square, and I like to have my stuff on defended squares, but the knight can very easily go there, so I think I'm going to take with a queen, and my knight might like to jump in there at some point. Knights moving backwards is really not a great thing in general in chess, because they want to creep up towards this guy, you know? And they can be part of the fun. My bishop's got a very natural looking square there on c5 because it's lined up with the king. So, I'm still in the opening, I haven't completed development, we're on move 9. Okay, now he's attacking my undefended piece. At the same time, we must notice the bishop is now undefended b2. So I could stick my knight here. It'll probably prompt him just to push b3 though, because he'll see his pawn's under attack. So from this square, if I have to move again, what do I do? Do I come back and try and trade off his bishop? That's a thought. Then I can jump to this square or this square. They're both nice squares, so let's do this. I'm fully expecting him to play b3. And if and when he does, I can retreat to here. If bishop takes, which would not be good, because his bishop can penetrate this light squared pawn chain, right? And he doesn't have a light squared bishop. It would leave me with a dark squared bishop that can poke through this dark squared pawn chain and attack on these lovely diagonals, you see. 12 minutes 57, playing quite quick. We want to slow down. Zen. Okay. Again, his knights are kept out of here. He's got both of his knights on dark squares, so they've got to go to a light square if they move, and there is no forward light square that is not defended. Alright, he's decided not to trade. Probably very wise. Now, what I'm thinking at this point is I want to develop, and obviously developing this bishop just doesn't make any sense right now, unless I wanted to do this, but there's no pawn here, no value. I'm thinking bring my knight out to here, and then there and attack the bishop, or knight to here, controlling the light squares. Which is best? This is a good question. How about this as well? I mean, you know, we spot this pattern, right? Let's do it in red. Bishop and the knight are 2 squares apart, and there's a pawn that could potentially come up and do that. However, that pawn would now be attacked twice and not defended at all. So I'm thinking let's develop rather than try pawn breaks now, right? Haven't completed development. So knight here looks good. I think I want to control the dark squares, yeah? Because my opponent has a dark squared bishop, so it's very likely that the bishop and queen might try and team up and attack on the dark squares. So if you want to control the dark squares and you've got a surplus of knights, okay, then you need to put your knights on light squares, because from light squares they're looking at dark squares. Simple. Is there any benefit to fianchettoing this bishop? Look at this, knight, knight, rook, all in a row. Rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. It takes this square away from my knight, but my knight's still got that as an idea. I quite like this idea. And really kind of own this diagonal, yeah? Or how about this? If knight takes, I capture towards the centre, get a nice pawn centre. I always like that in the French defence. So knight could come here. That's another idea. Here, the bishop can just drop back to there. It's just slightly improved the bishop. And what about my knight? No, I'm doing this. You've talked me into it. I'm doing it. Yeah, I don't mind leaving a pawn isolated there. Alternatively, I've got queen takes, hits this knight, lined up with that corner. It's not too bad. So I may end up with one knight, but even so, my oh, good move. See, these are the things I'm missing right now. This is what I'm missing. Okay, this pawn is pinned. I didn't notice it. I didn't remark on it. And if that pawn is pinned, then it's not defending that. That was under attack and effectively undefended. Now, I can move my bishop here. I'm not worried about this fork because queen takes. If I put my bishop here, knight might take, queen takes. Rook here is also a thought. Can't put my knight there. Again, same problem because the knight would capture and the only defender would be pinned. So, or we'll just carry on with this plan. Is there an immediate risk? Knight there is an immediate risk. Attacking queen and rook. So that decides it. I'm going to move my rook. Try a sanity check. Think we're okay. But this is, look, 1253 is pulling out tactics on me that, and I'm going, oh, that was a really good move. That was a really clever move. It's not a really, really clever move at my level, but it seems it because I'm just not noticing what's going on. I mean, he's got knight here, hit the queen anyway, but then my queen can just move. Probably go here, hit the knight right back. So, he's got his pawn back, which is annoying because I like that pawn, right? That pawn had potential to put pressure on this game. Did you spot that? If you did, well done. He's still, okay, he's just gone for that silly move. So I'm just going to, well, this is my idea. I'm going to hit him back, but before that, king safety. That's all okay. He might go here. Oh, then if he goes there, then my knight's effectively pinned. But if he takes, bishop takes, it's all right. I don't really want to go here because blocks in my bishop. That knight's defended twice. If he goes here, hits the queen again, and just move back. Now, or do I do something else? I mean, I can move here. I can move here. Then he can't go back there. That knight is defended twice. And I'm attacking his knight. Is there anything wrong with this? He can't go there, he can't go there, he can't go there, he can't go there. Is he going to defend it with a pawn? Well, let's find out. So I'm hitting the knight. This is something that I like to do as well. When my opponent's thinking, I'm just reminding myself what the current threat is. Hopefully there's always a current threat if you're playing with initiative. So still thinking about developing my bishop, still thinking about maybe the fianchetto, but that does weaken the dark squares around this area, although maybe not if I've got a bishop in it, so we'll see. So I think he either has to push his pawn or he has to bring his knight back to one of these two squares. But he can't move it there because queen takes. So it's either push pawn or it's that. Either way, I'm not unhappy. So the situation is he's got an extra pawn on the C file, I have an extra pawn on the E file. And that was a silly mistake to lose an important central pawn. Central pawns are more valuable than, than they get less valuable as they go towards the edge. I mean, sometimes a pawn can be a 5-piece point. What's he done here? Oh, he's trading knights. Okay. Now he has a check, but queen takes, that's all right. I'm now attacking this knight, and also there's a danger here. My defended rook could, if this knight, well, this knight's going to have to move somewhere, right? And it can't go there, and it can't go there, because it's going to get itself took, and it can't go there. Right, so all these are out, right? Because he'll get schnaffled. So let's say, for example, this knight goes back here. Have I got something evil that I can do with my knight? Not really. Not really. Which is unfortunate. Still toying with this idea. See, it's 2 moves to develop the bish, right? That's kind of one move. I can even go there. Is that preferable to a fianchetto? It might be, There, bishop's on a defended square, but there, the bishop's on a defended square. I think working on the principle of don't move the pawns in front of the king unless you have to, I'm maybe leaning towards that as an idea. Annoy this rook and really occupy some very important squares on the board. Got knight here as well at some point, that might be nice. I've got bishop and queen that might like to do something on this diagonal as well. So maybe drop queen back here means that this pawn here is pinned. And then the knight here, I'm not going to put the knight there right now, but would it want to be here? Here? Don't know, but my opponent's having a good think, that's good to see. Okay, he has retreated the knight. I'm going to go for the flexibility of this, and I'm going to leave this idea in my pocket, right? Very important. Now I did have this as an idea. Queen moves, I capture the knight, probably rook takes, nothing's gained, yeah? I should have taken a minute to consider it, but... So now I'm looking to castle. I have isolated pawns here. It's worth noting. So my pawn minority here is the B pawn. We've just changed with that exchange, you see. With this, it was a simple 3 on 2. Now it's a 3 on a split 2. Okay, well that might change matters, I don't know. Right, she's having a look at there. But has she just walked into this? Skewer. There, queen's under attack. Oh, bishop can block. So if I go here, bishop blocks, yeah. Or do I just castle now then? I might just castle, defend there. Still got this idea in my pocket of the discovery. But I just need to up the evil first. This rook cannot move forwards because I would have checkmate. That's an idea. I'd like to have my knight kind of... Oh, hello. We have activity. Right, safe squares. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Right, so I've basically got 1, 2, 3. Can't go there because queen takes, so it's 1 or 2. There or there. My gut just says drop back. Now if I can swap off either of these two at any point, so if this pawn advances, I'm just going to go swapsies. This pawn advances, I can just take it with an attack on the queen. So from these squares, where am I attacking? I'm attacking all these dark ones, aren't I, around here? Oh, that's interesting. It's a different pattern. No, 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 no. Lots of dark squares, in fact almost every dark square potentially. From there I'm also attacking them. And that. There's a lot of blue squareage potentially there as well. Where this knight can get to in 2 jumps, but you'll notice all of those squares are dark squares because my knight is on a dark square now. And a knight has to change colour squares every time it jumps. Right, we're both under 9 minutes. My opponent's doing well, he's taking his time. He's from Poland. Rudy 243. Okay, I have this. It will force the queen to come off the open file, which is a good thing. Oh, it also actually hangs my queen, so maybe it's not such a good thing. So maybe I need to move my queen back here, and then, for example, if I attack, oh, then when I move my knight, I'm going to have 2 attackers on there. I like that idea, and I can't see an immediate threat, so I'm going to do it. May have to start using the clock later on, although we have a 10-second increment, so that won't save you if you get down to like a foot race in the end game, because the increment will just neutralize any time advantage. But now, yes, with this, if the knight moves, say to there, queen's double attacked by knight and rook, but also my bishop and queen are both attacking that pawn. And if I can take out that pawn, I'm a happy boy, because then I have the pawn advantage again with the e-pawn here. 8 minutes 10. 1 game a day and give it your all. If I showed you how many chess games I've been playing in desperation, trying to regain some kind of confidence, you know, you'd be stunned. Right? It's like the more games I've played, the worse I've done. Because I'm in the bottom half of my bell curve, because I'm tending to lose, right? Because I'm not noticing stuff, because my brain's slow. And so the more I play, the more I lose. So like I said yesterday's video on the 2 humps model, you know, if you know you're in the bottom half of your bell curve, the best thing you can do to improve your rating is stop playing. Do something else. Okay, now this is interesting. This is interesting. That actually hangs that pawn because it's blocked the queen's defense of the pawn. This knight is now attacked 3 times. Knight, queen, bishop. Yeah. However, it can move with a threat. So I can move there, I can move there. So which of these 2 squares is preferable? Or I can actually defend it a 3rd time simply with that. that actually pins the knight, so the knight can't take there because queen takes queen, it's undefended. If bishop takes, same deal. I think I have my pawn back. Yes! And I still haven't used my discovered attack. See? Because the moment wasn't right. Got to be in the mood. The mood for evil. Still, this rook cannot move forwards because that would be mate in one. Right? I'm just noticing things on the board and marking them down. So it's a good habit to be in. Also, now I've got two attackers on this knight, but the knight is pinned. So what happens? What do you do? Interesting, isn't it? I didn't notice that. Two attackers on the knight, but if the knight goes anywhere, boom, queen falls, end of game. Thank you for playing. There should be a Squid Game opening, shouldn't there? That'd be cool. See, if I take, like with the knight, knight takes knight, I've got the discovery on the queen as well. And it's all looking... So this was a real problem move from my opponent. Knight to here. You could tell what he's thinking. He's thinking, this knight is defended twice, right? I'm attack it 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times a lady, you know? With 1, 2, 3 attacks. But what he didn't do is, if I do that, what's my opponent's evilest response? And if your opponent has a smidgen of evil honor, then he might find this, for example. Okay? And this is, again, what I'm saying. He's put his queen in this position, right? But the queen is in line with my rook, yeah? And it's on an undefended square. So you just got to be careful. Okay, now, I could capture with the rook and go back to a pawn up, and the knight is still pinned. However, the knight is now only attacked once because white has just eliminated my other knight. So it's pinned, but I can't win it necessarily, I don't think. I like rook takes. I'm drawn towards rook takes. If bishop takes as well, I've got bishop there, which is quite nice, and line up with the king. Bishop takes, he's got options. Rook takes is more forcing because I'm attacking the queen, yeah? So I think I'm going to go that way. Tap the queen, occupy the open file. There are 2 open files on the board because now both of us have lost our b-pawns. But the queen's still got to defend the knight. So where can the queen go? Well, not there, there, or there. Not there because queen takes, not there because queen takes. So where the hell are you going to defend your knight from? You're going to have to stay on the 4th rank. It's the only way. Otherwise, you just lose your knight, I do believe. You're not going to do that. Queen can't get there. So it really is there, there, or there. Exactly. Now what have we got? The knight is still pinned, remember. It's worth noting. Bishop here, rook here. Yes. I'm hitting the rook as well. See? Now I've been talking all game about putting my bishop on that diagonal and hitting that rook. But the moment was now. Because it came with double threat ideas. Yeah? Let's say he moves his rook, and of course we know he can't go forwards because yours truly still has mate in 1. So he has to go sideways. And maybe there. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Hits the queen. Right? But I might just go back here and maintain the pin on the knight, which is advantageous to me. Okay, well that's another idea. And now I can't go there. That's a good move. Well done for finding that one. Okay, so my first thought is like queen here on that diagonal. His rook's still under attack and his rook's going to have to move forward. So it'd be great to capture that rook if he did. If I did this, rook takes, and I've got my rook on here. No, it's just too dangerous. Yeah, I think just queen here. Oh, hang on. My rook's now under attack by the knight. Rook here. You take my queen, I take yours. Yes. You take my queen, I take yours, and I'm attacking this rook as well. And one of your rooks come off the back rank, and you've still got a back rank mating threat. Okay. Always remember, whenever you're under attack, okay, there are lots of things that you can do. I've done whole videos on this, right? You don't always have to retreat the piece or whatever, capture the attacker, put your opponent in check, pin the attacker, interpose something, counter-attack with a greater threat, counter-attack with an equal threat in this case, you know? Always options. Now, I also notice I need to activate this rook somehow as well. I'm still a pawn up. So if we equalise down and we finish the game with me having a bishop and him having a knight, then I'm fairly comfortable with that. And the reason is, okay, so we've traded. Now he can't move his knight with check. If he did, that would be a problem. Again, his knight is actually pinned. Right, so has he got back rank ideas? Surely not. Could go here and defend that square. Also kind of inclined to put my rook here, just in case he ever slips up. Then I can back rank him. Also this rook can go there. What's he thinking? Is he thinking here and attacking my pawns? He can't do it now because he loses his knight. Knight can't move there. My pawns are vulnerable. Got bishop here and pawn there, that's quite good. And it leaves this guy, but he's quite advanced. The a pawn on a5. What does this do? Hit the rook. Pawn's defended by... Hit the rook. Rook has to go here or else the knight falls, yeah? But does he want to go there anyway? And the rook is there. I quite like it, it's just as a general idea. I know it's pretty safe from the knight, so I'm hitting this and he's got to go here now, behind his pawn, but his pawn's blocked off. Now I need to kind of defend this as well. Can I attack the knight in any way? Or maybe just put both rooks on the this open file, yeah. Like this. Rook here, and then I can, that's actually a forced mate. Still, this knight is pinned. We've got ourselves an interesting ending here. Now my opponent's now down to 3 minutes 30. And he is slightly on the back foot because he's slightly behind in material. Okay, so we have a back rank defense. Gonna make sense. If I went here, I could still force an exchange of rooks. And my bishop's still looking at that pawn. He's going to want to attack this. And right now my rook is blocking the bishop's defense of that square. So is there something cool I want to do with a rook? I don't know, but I just think get it on the open file. Put the pressure back on my opponent. I'm on 437, he's under 330 now. So if my rook ever moves, king goes here, bishop there, but it can't right now because of the knight. So might start push. Start pushing pawns up. I have rook here as well, which puts 2 attackers on there. And he can't add a second defender here or here, right? So that's a thought. Why didn't I think of that? But again, okay, now we all right. Oh, hello, right? What you do? Here, if knight takes, he loses a rook. Okay, you're down to 3 minutes now. Now, I have to be careful about back ranks, but because my rooks are connected on the same... that drops a rook, buddy. Drops a whole rook, not a knight. Now you're down an exchange, and now you're at Poop Creek without a paddle. Okay, now I think I grabbed the spare pawn. My opponent's on 3 minutes, but now he's definitely on the back foot. I might even go here. Not now. Can't take because my rooks are now disconnected and I get back ranked. Okay, but he's also threatening to take this pawn with a fork on both rooks. Therefore, I'm going to do this. Defend that pawn, attack that pawn. That pawn's undefended right now. All I need to do is create myself an escape square, and there's no back rank mate option, and that knight therefore hangs. So now I'm hoping that having more experience, I imagine, than Rudy, I might be able to find decent moves quicker than he does. Because he's spending, so get his last moves, 12, 4 and 29. That was 29 seconds. Okay, he's attacking this pawn. Right, so I'm just going to create an escape square. He's also attacking this one twice, but with this I've got like check, and I'd like to take out that pawn, really. If he's going to win the game, it's going to be Charlie the Seapawn. Okay, so now his knight is on prise because there's no back rank. Okay, so now his knight's going to have to move. If his knight takes there, I'm going to take Charlie. No question. We'll get down to a 4-on-3 pawn endgame. Okay. Now my hunch says, oh, hang on, if I do that, he just takes the pawn and it comes up an attack on the rook. I could just hit the knight. Seems alright. He can't go here because of the pawn. He'd love to. He'd love to go there or here. Get together, but that's 2 jumps away. No, it's not. 1, 2, 3 jumps. Takes a knight to do a huge knight move. Now the knight is hit, and now the pawn hangs actually. But also so does that one. So is there any point in hanging pawns at this point in time? No. We have one objective and one objective only, which is to win the game. Secure the win at all costs, General. On my command, unleash hell. So I am prepared now to grind this out. And that is a sign of somebody who's ready to win a game of chess, right? If you think you want a quick win, you're setting yourself up for failure. Every time. I think I'd like to get my rook on the 7th. Rook on 7th, king on 7th, just to protect against these ideas. Because right, if he stuck his rook in there now, my king is then banished to the back rank, which is a pain. But he's down to 1 minute 25 now, so can't see him rescuing this, but never take your foot off the gas. Let's just keep going. Okay, he defends pawn. Now I can pin the knight, which undefends the pawn. But first I'm going to play this move. I just want to get my king maybe to there, that's all. Oh, that was a pointless move on his part. Huh. You attack my rook, huh? How about this? And now his rook is actually trapped behind enemy lines. He'd have to come after one of these pawns, wouldn't he? But then I can drop my rook back, whatever. Okay, I have check. I can attack the knight again. If I push knight takes, no real benefit there. Let's just attack the knight then. He can't go there, he can't go there, he can't go there. He's got 1, 2. He's going to again move backwards. See? Right, and now what do we have? There is a check. If I can't go here, right? So, right, knight's on a dark square, king's on a dark square, okay? Knight is a long knight's move away from my king, right? That's important. Which means the knight can check in 1. If I move my king here, he can't check me. It actually takes him 4 jumps to travel those squares, right? And that's not bad. I wanted to put my king there anyway, so that's definitely a thought. Okay, I like the pace at which I'm thinking now. This obviously would be a huge blunder because it walks into the fork. So yeah, I think move the king. His knight's not going to attack this pawn anytime soon. He'd have to capture this. Okay, that drops the pawn. This is fine. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Pushing Andy is an idea. Push there and rebuild the chain is a good idea. No point much in the check. But he's on 140 now. Is there a major threat? Yeah, he's attacking this pawn. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make sure I get this pawn out of the way. And we want to degenerate into a normal ending. Okay, so I'm very happy that my king is not checkable. It would take him 3 jumps to check me, right? Because it takes a knight 2 jumps to travel 1 diagonal square, always. Right? So however you do it, okay, now here, obviously again that's a mistake. So I'm going to put my rook on a light coloured square, right, where it cannot be checked by a knight that's on a dark coloured square. This is really the theme of today, isn't it? So for example, if I put my rook here now, yes, he can attack. But let's say I go here, right? I'm threatening to go here and basically win the pawn, and I don't think there's anything he can do. And again, he's gone back to that square where my king is perfectly safe. So now he can't defend the pawn. And if I win this pawn, I'm in very good shape. So what I'm realizing is this is the kind of pace that I have to play at in order to play a solid game. And I think this game has been solid. It's not been spectacular. But, you know, grinding out a win is a good thing. And I'm not going to speak too soon because he's still got 1:15 on the clock. And he might beat me. So I've got to be on my toes, haven't I? Right, I'm just going to take there. If he recaptures with the pawn again, he's just split up his pawns and it's not good. I'm taking that pawn. If he trades rooks, he's a fool. Okay, now he has a check. 1 check and it's that, right? Not good. So I'm thinking here with a threat of a ladder mate on the back rank and it's all over. And his king cannot escape the back rank. So the only thing he can do is to put his rook back on the back rank. Absolutely. Alrighty then. How about rook here, attacking both pawns? King can't defend. Knight can't defend both. Knight's defending that one, but hey. Again, now his rook cannot leave the back rank either because it's mate in 1. Ladder mate. Love the smell of evil in the morning. That pawn is... Oh, hello. There's a move. Okay. Now if I do this, he brings up his king. I might just do this and force a trade of rooks. And then it should be a fairly straightforward operation. I just need to make sure that I'm left... In fact, I can even lose my pawns. As long as I've got a rook left, I can checkmate with king and rook. Every boy should learn how to checkmate with king and rook. Very important. But Rudy's put up a very good fight, and he's played some decent moves, eh? No, I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. Simplification across the nation. Okay. Come on then, Rudy. Let's see what you've got in your endgame. Can't push that pawn. I'm going to push the king, put it on a different coloured square to the knight. It's definitely the theme of this game. Now, rook here, and he can't progress. He's got to retire there, right? Is anything gained? Not really. Okay. Push this pawn. You see, I can't push this pawn because knight can actually take it outright. King can't recapture because it'd be in check. But I can push this one. Push this one. King has to retire. Yeah. Check him. If I go here, the knight's attacking that. So, but even so, I go here. Knight takes there with check. I go here. Knight can't check me, and I've got threat of mate in one. So that's too tempting. He's gonna take that. He's gonna take that bait. Right, now here again, king's on an opposite colour to the knight. Knight can't give check. The only move that prevents mate is that. Okay, now this, and I've won my pawn back. Okay, he gives check. Fair play. I'm now attacking your knight. Ooh. Okay. Game on. I'm having the pawn. No way am I having a draw. Okay. So, we're going for a king, rook, mate. Key thing, I want to keep my rook on this second rank. Okay. And I want to keep it on an opposite colour to my king. Right, he's got a check. Oh no, you bugger! You didn't! Oh no! 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 I'm in check. Oh, he's done it. He's rescued the draw. Minus 2 points. That was just ridiculous. What did I say? What did I just say about keeping my king on a different coloured square to the knight? Yeah? And I've gone and put it on the same colour square where the knight can give check, and I even blundered that. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I'm just going to have a look at the graph on the game review. I think it will say I was absolutely winning and threw it away in the last few minutes by being a dick. That's my prediction. Absolutely winning. That was complete blunders here. Let's look at these. What were these? Knight e7 is a blunder. Huh. Don't know. Because I blocked the bishop's defense of that, but it's only attacked one time. Knight e7 is a blunder. Let's see the line. What? No, don't get it. And you know, sometimes don't matter. And then this is also a blunder. Loses a piece. Yes, which we saw, and that's actually what happened. Okay, and then last of all, last blunder. Oh. Yeah, so that was a blunder because it lost my pawn. I should have just gone here, right? You can, play on from here. It doesn't yeah, no way should I have lost that. No way, but that's the way it's going, guys, at this minute in time. So join me tomorrow where we will pick up our adventure from now 1352, hopefully that way. Okay, see you later.